Good afternoon. Grateful to be here. Thinking more along the lines of promoting health within my family, particularly with my child, and I'm trying to get the right way to formulate this, but there's been a series of health challenges within my family within the past few years, the latest of which affected my youngest child. I understand that we all have to, the thing about the vortex, it's an individual thing. As a parent, how do I assist my child?
Well, your words were perfect as you began. How do I influence the well-being?
Yes.
How do I influence the well-being? Well, you can't influence well-being while you're acknowledging or addressing or cataloging or pigeonholing or noticing or fussing over the not well-being. In other words, what's active in your vibration is what you are promoting. So it's a tricky thing though, isn't it?
Yes.
How does a mother who cares so much not notice that something is out of balance? And what do you do when you do notice it? And we say, of course you're going to notice it, but the key to helping is to get onto what you are asking for and off of what you are not wanting as quickly as you can. In other words, de-emphasize what is going wrong while you emphasize what is going right. It comes down to, and we said it earlier, but it is really worth repeating again and again. You cannot be a vibrational match to sickness and wellness at the same time. And whatever you are a vibrational match to is the influence that you're offering. Can you imagine going to a physician who is not worried about you? He's seen this a million times. He knows that you're strong. He knows that you're going to recover. He knows it's going to be all right. And so he just doesn't emphasize it. He doesn't play it up. He soothes you and lets you know. He gives you this reasonable reassurance that all is really well. Aren't those comforting words to you? And yet some people would say, yes, but I don't want my physician to comfort me if there is something that is really wrong. And we say, really? Really? Because from our point of view and from what we know about your physical body, you cannot recover from anything if you are in the angst or in the fear or in the awareness or in the vibration of what's gone wrong. In other words, you really have to decide what it is you're going to be a vibrational match to and then work toward that. Of course, it's always easier to do when things are going well. But you know what's really funny about so many of our physical friends? You don't really practice it when they are going well. You wait until something's not going well and then you freak out and give that your undivided attention, you see. So you don't have any reservoir of well-being to fall back on. Where if you're practicing well-being, if you're aware of well-being, if you're looking for the evidence of well-being, if that's what's dominant in your vibration, then when something does get out of whack, as it occasionally does, especially with others who you're interacting with, and you notice it, now you stand in that strong place of knowing well-being. Someone said to us, sitting in the hot seat like this one day, as we were encouraging some sort of distance between this woman and the problems that her son was living. She said, Abraham, won't my son feel like I have forsaken him? Don't I need to be there for him? And we said, don't be there for him outside the vortex, be there for him inside the vortex. Be with who he really is, be with what he really wants. Practice the vibration of that, because if you don't know it, you can't teach it. If you aren't offering the vibration of it, then it's just empty, hollow words, you see. But when you know it, now you have this leverage of alignment, and now you are powerful, and so is your power of influence, you see. Your child knows this.
Yes, he
your
does.
child wants you to remember it. And your child tells you this on a really, really, really regular basis.
Yes, he does.
Listen to this master.
Yes.
Because that's what this is all about. This experience that you are having is not so that you can figure out how to help your child recover from that. This experience is about your child showing you that wellness abounds predominantly no matter how it appears in current manifestation. And if you hold to that knowing, then it must be. It is law.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely.
Something more?
No, you're absolutely on point. From the very beginning, he ministered to us. Even as the doctors were telling him one thing, he told them something different. I told him, I touch and agree. I agree with you. It's just staying there that's been an issue for me because that's my baby.
Well, what's so interesting about this is that if we could just sort of grab hold of all of you and jolt you into this one singular awareness, and that is, how is it that what is gets so much of your attention?
Yeah.
When what is only a snapshot in time of a vibration that was and has nothing to do with what is. If we could convince you that the real time is in the vortex, that the real time is there with the well-being, the real time is in what you are wanting. And so that's where the word faith comes in. You got to practice a vibration even before you have the evidence. That's where the word unconditional love comes, or unconditional knowing comes, where regardless of the condition, you still know the well-being. And when you know the well-being, you got to understand that what is always lagging behind. What is in terms of manifestation is always lagging behind what the actual creation is. And yet all of your guidance is given to you about your relationship with what's really going on. What's really going on. So when you look at your child and you see something that you don't want to see and you feel fear, just stop and say to yourself, this fear is the most natural response in the world when I am looking at something that I clearly do not want. And even more. It's not just that you don't want it, it's abhorrent to what really is. It's opposite of what really is. It's so out of bounds that the source within you and the source within your child won't look at it. It is so out of bounds, you see, so off the mark from what is. We're asking a lot of you, we know. We're asking you to not face reality. We're asking you to create reality. We're not asking you to blame the victim. We're asking you to empower what you have formerly seen as a victim, you see. And so your child already knows this, and as you let your child know that you know it, big evidence will appear. Now, we said something earlier, and it's good for us to emphasize it again here. So you have a reality that's observable. It's observable with your eyes and ears and so forth. It's observable through the tests. It's observable through the lens of the physician. It's observable. And as you observe it, what happens? It feels awful because it's not a vibrational match to what you want. And in the observing of it, you're launching all of these rockets. In other words, when someone is sick, in the vortex, they are weller than they've ever been. In other words, all of this attention to this has put more asking in the vortex. It has queued up a more powerful influx of energy. It has put you in a position where a stronger well-being is now coming forth. So now all you got to do is figure out how to become a vibrational match to that, which means you can't look at what is outside the vortex and what is inside the vortex at the same time. So a caring mother often says, but what if this is just fairy dust? What if this is just pie in the sky? What if I'm just hoping for something? What if I'm not facing reality? What if I don't make the right decisions? What if I get myself over there in the vortex and I feel so much the well-being? What if I miss the cues? And we say, when you're in the vortex, you will not miss the cues. When you're in the vortex, all of your impulses will be on point. When you're in the vortex, the path will be lighted, the path of least resistance. So we're not for a moment suggesting that this path of least resistance leaves the doctors out or leaves your Western medicine out. But what we are suggesting is that from inside the vortex, you'll know the path of least resistance. You'll know exactly what to do, and you'll feel good about it as it unfolds, not worried about it, you see.
Yes.
Yes.